witchcraft has overtaken the black community, period. Any witch will tell you that they're women with black people. They believe that they are controlling most of the black churches because they're being pastored by Masons, those that have pledged, and those that have consulted mediums to grow their ministries. Ancestral worship, voodoo, Yoruba, Santeria, however you want to say it, and other forms of satanic power has made our people angry, hateful, vengeful, and even murderously evil. 1 Timothy 4:1. Now the Spirit speaketh expressly that in the latter times, y'all believe these are the latter times? Some shall depart, but they're not going to just leave the faith. The reason they're leaving the faith is because they're going to open themselves up to seducing spirits and doctrines of devils. I believe he's talking about what I'm just talked about. They're going to open themselves up to systems that will control what they're able to preach and say. When you see people wishing death, wanting people dead, celebrating death, you know, some of them went out and urinated on this boy's grave. Yeah, in line to do it. Women and men. Black ones. The crazy thing is, few of those folks you saw were paid actors. They're paid actors. Paid to stir it up. Paid to stir you up. Make you mad about something that don't have nothing to do with you. I would love for them to take all of them protesters, line them up, and ask them, where are your kids? Show them to us. What are they doing? Show them to us. Show us your fruit. Because the Bible said we will know them. Can I preach in here? Somebody ain't coming back. And that's great.
Every time we turn around, there's something going on in Chicago. And the vast majority of victims happen to be black. When we going to speak about that? Same energy, y'all. Don't lose the intensity. Keep the same intensity. We going to fight and fight and fight over a young kid that admitted he killed somebody. And we hear crickets when 39 people get shot and 6 get killed in Chicago on Juneteenth. Have you read some of this stuff? Juneteenth holiday came to a violent end on the South Side with more than 100 shell casings near 95th and Wentworth, where a drive-by shooting left 14 people injured just after 11 p.m. on Friday. The victims were between 17 and 47 years of age, and that was just one location.
The point is, everything about black Americana at large right now sucks. It's observably bad. It's not all of the artists who have come before you, by the way, who paved the way as black, beloved black Americans who, if they came along today, you would say weren't black enough because it's not real black music unless it's the latest hip hop. Oh, I guess Motown isn't. I guess R&B isn't. I mean, just think about all night long, the implication, right? That was pretty close to I Want to Hold Your Hand. They were both suggestive to I Smell. These same people who established your culture would not be considered black enough by your standards today. That's how shitty your culture is. Joe Louis, best heavyweight boxer ever. Uncle Tom. How do I know? Because Muhammad Ali came out and said it, and said the same about Joe Frazier, and he regretted it later on in his life. Muhammad Ali, we did that whole special, endorsed Ronald Reagan and campaigned for Orrin Hatch, the whitest person ever. Your culture today sucks. Everything about it. Everything. Professional sports, the way you carry it, sucks. Your social media enclaves suck. What do I mean? More violent, more vulgar, more tribal, more carnal than the white or Asian or even South American version.
And that's hard to do.
The music sucks. More violent, more tribal, more carnal, more low IQ than even country music.
Stephen A. Smith, whose side are you on? Any given Sunday, I have no idea if this is someone who's extremely pro-black, pro-Democrat, pushing against Trump, and I apologize for my words. I shouldn't have said this about the black community, and I'm riding for it. Or it's every once in a while, it sounds like, is he waking up? Is he actually like truthfully being aware of what's going on? But at the end of the day, I think for him, his platform is far more important, but there is some truth behind the things that he is saying. What I push back against him on is that he said, you have nothing to say about that. Of course they do. It will be someone else's fault. You are actually wrong for bringing it up in the first place. You don't understand how this is the white man's governmental system, and he's the one that has established this. If you tell him that Chicago's been ran by Democrats for a long period of time, then that's when we get the name calling, the Uncle Toms, and everything else in between. But he is right. The gentleman at the end, for whatever he was talking about, he is right. And it's why when I see a brother Wise on the Christian Conservatives channel, I hear them say that, you know what, I'm turning in my black card. Absolutely. I had to say this a couple of days ago on a different platform that, you know what? You either A, don't speak for the black community anymore, or B, I want nothing to do with the black community, but there is no in between. This new culture, this new mentality, this mindset, that word tribalism has probably never been more powerful than in this situation right here. Because if you want to be a part of the black community, you must vote our way. That's just to get into the door. You must dress the way we want you to dress, talk the way we want you to talk. And when you align with that, the best that we have to offer you in this community is hatred, anger, and frustration every single day, in a sense that you are always going to be less than the other individuals in the country. But if you decide to do this, you decide to strip away from that. You just try to actually be somebody who goes out and builds a life for yourself and have any form of independent thought. And you decide not to align with those things that have systematically, historically, and thank you, Celeste, for coming on the show and teaching us, proven to not be true when it comes to the civil rights movement and slavery. And you decide to not go against with those lies anymore, then you are all of a sudden a traitor to your race. Your skin color will dictate who you are all the way up until you don't act the way that we want you to act. And then all of a sudden we can take that away from you, which is kind of strange to me. It's a conundrum. And the question I have, and I'm hoping that one of the other individuals on the panel takes this and I'll land on this point, is where do we go from here? We know that it's a problem, but unfortunately, the ones who know it's a problem have already cleaned themselves up. The ones who are stuck in this will not address the problem. The first step of solving anything is identifying that there is one, and they don't think that this is a problem. How do we get past that?
G. Craig Lewis is 100% right. It's so interesting. A while back, my mother, she was praying and she kept asking the Lord, why is the black community this way? Why? I don't understand why. And the Lord showed her that it was the African spiritualism. It's the hoodoo, it's the voodoo, it's all of these things that they decided, black people decided they were turning their eyes off of God and they were turning their eyes onto all of this witchcraft and demonic behavior, which opened them up all to a reprobate mind. And that is what you see play out in front of you every single day, their reprobate behavior. Now, the thing is, Stephen A. Smith, who likes to ride the fence that Satan owns, wants to talk about why are we not speaking about Chicago and all of the black lives that are being lost, except we all speak about it, but because we are not respected because y'all don't think we're black enough to have these conversations. That's why y'all aren't hearing these conversations, because we have these conversations all the time. We've made numerous videos on it. I have showed y'all what has happened in the black community over and over and over again, but I'm not respected. I am called the black face of white supremacy for standing up on truth and trying to help the black people. Y'all say black card decline. She hates her race. You say people like Raven Hartwell that is standing on truth and giving you the biblical truth as well. You're saying that she's hateful. You attack every one of us that is trying to actually help the black community, and then want to know why the black community is currently in its space. Yes, the black culture is deplorable right now, because what has taken over, quote unquote, the black culture is the scum of the earth. And that's what I'm going to call it. I'm not going to be nice about the words. There's no reason for me to be nice, because Jesus never called me to be nice. He told me to be kind. I'm going to tell you that you are the scum of the earth. You push debauchery, sexual immorality, violence, hatred. You are the biggest racists that are out there. When people tell you about yourself, you are upset. And then you sit down here and want to blame the white man for this. The white man is not the reason why your children can't read. The white man is not the reason why your children are taking other children's lives. The white man is not in your household raising your children. You are, but you want to blame everybody else because you lack accountability. And that's something that is deep within this black community, especially in the ghettofied, because I'm not going to call them the other word, the ghettofied. You know what Chris Rock calls them? That side of that community. Y'all lack accountability. And when other people speak on it, you're like, you have no right to speak on it. Why not? Because your bad behavior is now starting to affect everybody else. I showed Brother Wise what happened on Carnival Cruise just a couple of days ago, where these people are just trying to go on a cruise and they have to experience this brawl that happened on as people are just trying to take a vacation. Your bad behavior is starting to affect everybody. People can't go out and have a good time without having to deal with y'all. People can't sit down and eat and have a good meal because we got to deal with y'all. We, all of us that look like this, we have to deal with the consequences of your bad behavior, where people are starting to look at us and say, are you one of them or are you different? As my sister in Christ Speak Your Voice first says, we are not those black people over there. We the black people over here. We not the black people over there. We are kingdom people, and we don't play that game. If y'all want to come out of being the scum of the earth, y'all are cursed. And if you want to come out from that, you better turn your eyes back onto Jesus Christ, because God will not be mocked. What you sow, you shall reap. And y'all are reaping what you have sown.
First of all, let me just say this, that the black community, I'm all for doing away with that concept, because the black community does not represent all black people. So I don't know what that is. There's a lot of black people that act stupid and foolish, and they need to be called on the carpet when they do it. They need to be spoke out against. But I am not a part of the black community. I'm just sorry. I don't know what that is. And I think that it's too easy to put black people together into a community and then talk about them like we all crazy. We ain't all crazy. We aren't all stupid. So that's just my take on that. Now, Stephen A. Smith, Stephen A. Broken Clock Smith, he's right sometimes and sometimes he's wrong. But you know, he's very selective when it comes to how he condemns black people. But again, I'm glad when he's right. As for Steven Crowder, however, he's supposed to be a Christian and he cusses like a sailor. I was not cool with his using the profanity that he was using to express himself. But yes, he was correct on some of the things he was saying. Why can't we be correct and decent when we talk? You know, if you're going to talk truth, why not just keep it clean? That's why I have no respect for Steven Crowder. I mean, he does a lot of good work and has done a lot of good work, but he just can't seem to keep that potty mouth controlled.
In check.
Yeah. Can't check it, amen. And that's unfortunate. And so again, we have our work cut out for us, because decent black people, decent white people, decent Christian people need to stand up against all of this buffoonery and support people like that pastor that was telling it like it is.
Minister Danza, you're absolutely right, and I'm with you. I just want to be a part of just a good community.
Yeah.
You know, when you hear these people talk about the culture, they're not talking about the forefathers like a Booker T or George Washington Carver, you know, or an A.G. Gaston. They're not talking about those people. They're talking about this debaucherous foolishness, you know, the Sexy Reds and Cardi B's and all this other foolishness, you know, out here. When they say the culture, that's what they're talking about. There was a time, you know, when you would say the culture and people knew you were talking about someone, you know, like a Ben Carson or, you know, someone along those lines. That's what they would assume. Not anymore. When you hear the term, the quote unquote, the culture, it's
or black community for that matter.
Or that too, black community or black culture. It's typically highlighting the worst, you know, amongst that demographic of people that share the same amount of melanin. And we're not a monolith, man. No. You know what I'm saying? We're not a monolith. No different than, I don't think, you know, folks with lesser melanin consider themselves the same either. You don't really hear that. We understand that those that speak Spanish, they don't all see themselves as the same and the same people just because they speak Spanish. That's not the case. We're not a monolith. And the reality of it is that the sooner we come to the conclusion that it's about what you think, what you believe in your ideology, and start moving in that manner. And those are the people that are actually your people, those that think along the same lines. Yes. Sooner we get there, the better we'll be. Amen. And we need more and more people to call out that bad behavior and say, nah, we're not with that. It's not right. And we're not with it. And I'm not co-signing it just because you think that I'm supposed to co-sign it. No,
Amen.
thank you. We're not doing that.
Amen.
If you look at like you and Minister Danzel keep talking about decent people, debaucherous culture, what is at the bottom of this debauchery? The debauchery is what we see. What we don't see is what is the impetus of that debauchery. And what that is sadness and lack of hope. That's the real enemy here. These are people whose stories are all, if you listen to their music, it'll tell you the truth about them. Their stories are all sadness. I grew up and it was no running water, and these people ran out on me, and we didn't have, 4 nights with no food, and my sister this, and auntie was on drugs, and I, stole the money for candy, so I never could get the baseball glove, and all of this, whatever, this sadness. The stories are all about sadness. And then they have a culture, and I mean the institutions that they engage with encourage them to develop and wallow in their sadness, and how that sadness has made them a victim. These are the things that have happened to you. Dennis Prager wrote a book called Happiness is a Serious Problem. We are not teaching people optimism. We're not teaching them that where they started does not have to be where they end. We don't have institutions, mostly because they've been captured by the liberals and the communists, that are giving people any sense of hope. And so what they are creating is a culture of debauchery. That's first. Right now, we see this culture of debauchery. What that will lead into is despair. Because eventually your debaucherous behavior is going to exhaust you. And once you have become exhausted and been as debaucherous as you can be, your only other option is despair. And despair is destructive. This is a very destructive thing we are watching. And we are watching institutions program people and actually support people in this self-destruction and the self-destructive behaviors. Now, they have no love for the Black community, because they have been walking the Black community down this dark and dusty path for many, many years. So we can prove they have no love for them. But we have got to take our children back. And what we have to take them back from is sadness and from lack of hope. If you don't believe there's anything you can do, there's any way out, that you are trapped into you can't do anything but make horrible decisions for yourself, and the decisions you make for yourself will have disastrous consequences for the people that you want to be beside. And we need to get a handle on this, not just for the morality issue, although that's extremely important, but for the practical issue of this. This Black fatigue conversation is slowly but surely leading into separation. Minister Danzel made a great point last week when we discussed this, which is when you leave desperate and despairing people alone,
That's right.
don't think you can keep them from crossing the line. You better get in the fence building business quick. Okay, we need to, if we're going to isolate them over there, then we better start looking into the mechanisms that are going to keep them over there. Because if you thought people were climbing the fence to get into this country, wait till you see when people start climbing the fence to get into Georgia, to get into Texas, to get into Alabama. And the other thing AT didn't mention, the red states where the food grows. So we're going to be eating and we'll be lighting our homes. We will have energy and food. You can have a whole society just on energy and food. What do they have over there? Drugs and pavement. Okay, that's not sustainable. That is not sustainable. It is a shame what is happening, and the media is actually broadcasting it, and the institutions are providing the intellectual and financial supports to keep this up. They are marching these people, and they want to drag us with them because they feel like if they can tip the front of the boat, the back of the boat is going to follow. over to the slaughter.
I want to hear from you guys. What are your thoughts on any of this? Hit the like button, share the video, subscribe to the channel, turn the notifications on to all so you never miss an upload. Consider joining the ARP family or buy your brother a coffee. That link's in the description box below. And as always, keep God first. Stay prayed up. We'll catch up with you guys next time. Peace.
It is God who arms me with strength. Yeah, I'm battle ready. He trains my hands for battle. My heart stays steady. But thanks be to God, he gives us the victory. Through my Lord Jesus Christ, fear can't live in me. I was down to the dirt, red clay on my shoes, old pain in my shirt, oh so bruised. Then the Lord hit my chest, kicked air from my breath, put power in my step.